Your rising sign is the most personal placement in your birth chart. So when I'm talking about the rising sign, I'm talking about you and how you see things, your perspective of the world based off your experiences of your environment. It's one of the big three things to know about yourself, whatever your sun, moon and rising is. And the reason why the rising sign is very important to know is because it essentially sets the foundation of your birth chart. It dictates which of the houses are going to be angular. Now, it will very much depend on where all your planets are in your chart to how your Gemini risings play out. Not all Gemini risings are going to have the same experience, and also how your planets are aspected. It's very important to know and to look at and to understand. And also, I just put this in quickly, if you're an early degree Gemini rising and you don't really relate and resonate, you might need to be checking out the Taurus rising and vice versa. And that's because there's a lot of people out here who've actually got a bit of unclarity around their birth time. So this is the mutable air sign that's ruled by Mercury. So this is important to know. Your chart ruler is Mercury, and the mutable aspect of Gemini means that you guys are very changeable, adaptable, fluid, flexible, very much live in the moment type people. You know, you're not rigid and stuck in your approach. And Mercury, let's look at Mercury. This is important to know because Mercury is ruling over two of your angular houses, which I'll get into later in the video. But Mercury, this is how we communicate, how we think, speak, read, write, all of that sort of stuff. Interesting fact here with Mercury, it's one of the only planets that we talk about really without a specific gender. It's neutral, and it's also not linked to day or night. It's just a neutral planet, and that's because it's our mind. So we can't have the planet that represents the mind being male or female, or being a certain, preferring a certain sect, day or night, for example. So Mercury is unique, but it represents intelligence. So, and it's got a really quick energy. It's one of the fastest moving planets we've got in the zodiac, slips in and out everywhere. You know, it retrogrades more than any other planet. But it's basically the planet of intelligence, and that is your chart ruler. So it's important to know. So, introductions over, let's have a look at what it's like to have and be a Gemini rising. It will depend on where Mercury is sitting in your chart and how it's aspected to how you're going to portray your rising signs. That's important to know, guys. But typically Gemini risings, they see the world as a place to learn. They like to absorb everything around them. They are very inquisitive, they're very curious minded, they're very interested in their immediate environment and who's there and what's happening and what are they saying, what these people like. They like to work it out, they need to know. This is a sign that has the ability for high mental intellect. You know, they're like a sponge, the way that they can absorb information. They soak up information from all sorts of sources. You know, they don't just need to study a book to learn something. They're always learning. They're curious by nature. They're always looking around. They love to connect with other people through the information that they know. They love doing that. They love learning things, and that they love to share it. And, you know, just as I said, very, very curious by nature. These people will ask a lot of questions. They have a lot of questions, and you know, it's because their chart rule is Mercury. So it's fast, it's a quick energy, it's ready to just absorb things. Now, because this is the rising sign, of course, it covers an element of your physical appearance and how you appear. So Gemini risings are known for having that youthful look to them, you know, because Geminis are very much, it has a childlike energy, light-hearted. You know, Gemini risings like to have a lot of fun. This is not a super serious energy that takes things really seriously. They are highly adaptable people. They have mutable signs in all of their angular houses, so they aren't rigid in their approach to things. They're not rigid in their demeanour, in their personalities. They're open to change, and they're very flexible in how they see things and how they adapt things. They need things to be different, actually. You know, they'll get bored very quickly if they're constantly doing the same thing. Like, no, they need variety. They need a bit of spice. They need a little bit of spice up in their life, Gemini risings. Now, this is typically a very communicative sign, a very, very chatty sign, although there are some more introverted Gemini risings based on, you know, planets, the personal placements in their chart. But as a rule, typically Gemini risings are that gift of the gab type person, strike up a conversation with anyone. They know how to talk themselves in and out situation really easily. They are kind of nosy a little bit, in the sense of, if they're in an environment, they will be eavesdropping on someone's conversation, and you know, if they want to go and join in a group conversation, they'll be listening out to what they're talking about, and they'll just mosey on over and join in the conversation by either saying something very witty about what they're actually talking about to show off the fact that they know what they're talking about. Or, you know, Geminis can make things up sometimes. They might just literally make something up in order to be able to join that conversation and join the group, just to get involved. You know, this isn't necessarily the most shyest of energies. Gemini Risings, that is an extroverted energy on the appearance house. But as I said, there are some more introverted Geminis that aren't necessarily so communicative like that and talkative, chatty, louder type. However, they are still watching and learning everything that's going on. They're not missing a trick. They just keep it within, and there's a few reasons why that kind of plays out. And they're just going to have so much knowledge in their head that they can pretty much hold a conversation with anyone, anywhere, anytime. People of all different levels, all walks of life. You guys particularly do have a love for people of other cultures and from other places, really, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. So, you know, you've got Aries up in your 11th house there. So in terms of your friendship groups, you know, you have a lot of friends in your life. Gemini Risings have a lot of different types of friends, and many different friends throughout their life. But with Aries being here, then, you know, you prefer to surround yourself with that go-getter mentality, that entrepreneurial flair energy people, you know, those people who can give as good as they get, if you like, if I can say it like that. They are, as Aries archetypes, are as spontaneous as Gemini. They like to have a lot of fun. They are a less serious energy, so it's kind of who they like to surround themselves with. I do wonder sometimes with this placement, though, that, you know, it could allude to the fact that you might be a little bit argumentative in your friend groups and just tend to want to be one of the more domineering people in that sort of situation. You know, you've also got Scorpio in the 6th house, your day-to-day work, your day-to-day routine, just the people you're usually around and what you're doing. In Scorpio, that's quite a controlling planet. They prefer to be in control, and you've got Aries in the 11th, again, dominating that Mars energy. So it might be a bit domineering in friend groups, but, you know, you like to keep it fresh. You like to switch up and surround yourself with different types of people. With the mutability aspect here, because it's such a fast energy, you know, it does make Gemini Risings be a little bit impulsive, and, you know, you are very good with your words. This is a known fact. I mean, you shouldn't really argue with Gemini archetypes, because they are clever with their words. They're quick. They know what to say. They're gifted the gabs. They can just act on the impulse of in the moment and know what to say, really. So, you know, you can have semi-argumentative traits, to be fair. You know, you have got Leo in your 3rd house, so when you think you're right, you can kind of think you're right, and you can get fiery when you're expressing outwardly. Like, this is your rising sign, like, it's actually visible with Geminis that you embody different personalities. It's visible to see that you can play different characters. Geminis like to keep it fresh. They like to switch it up. They can flip modes pretty quickly. I mean, the more extroverted type of Gemini Risings probably love a fancy dress situation, just because they want to change up the style. They don't want to look the same all the time. Not so much for the introverted Gemini Risings, but, you know, for the extroverted Gemini Risings, they know how to change the style and keep it fresh. And this is why you guys are kind of known really for being the tricksters and the magicians of the zodiac, because chameleon, you can just flip in and out, and it's fast. There is a difference in how a Gemini sun, moon and rising plays out, and it's interesting when we're looking at it from the rising point of view. So Gemini rising has fixed signs in the 3rd, 6th, 9th and 12th house. 12th house being Taurus, in the subconscious mind, that's fixed earth. 3rd house, thinking and communicating, is Leo. You know, 9th house, higher knowledge, learning, is Aquarius. So, you know, when they need to go deep, when they need to concentrate and have endurability, they actually are able to display that and have that skill set possibly a little bit better than a Gemini sun sign, for example, or a Gemini moon sign. Like, they just want things fast, in and out, in and out, in and out. Gemini risings, you are the same, in and out, in and out, in and out, but you can focus when needed to. So let's look at them individually. Leo, in your 3rd house, you know, the sun, Leo rules the sun. So, you know, when these people like to express, Gemini risings, you do like to express, you like to be seen for what it is that you've got to say. And, you know, it is a fiery sign, of course, Leo, it's the fixed fire. So if they get a bit cross or angry, they can be a bit explosive, really, a little bit louder, you know, with Leo there. Taurus in the 12th, subconscious mind, Taurus. Taurus literally represents, you know, Mother Earth, the planet that we live on. This is another reason why in their subconscious mind, like Gemini risings, just like to explore. They want to explore their environment. They want to explore Earth, everything that it's about. All the people, what are they about? What do they do? Aquarius in the 9th house, when it comes to, so, you know, 9th house is who you can learn from, really, the energy you can definitely learn from best, like guru, mentor sort of vibes. And that's going to be Aquarius, because, you know, Aquarius are different, they're unique, they're not following the crowd, and that's what you need, Gemini risings. You'll be very interested by what Aquarius archetypes have got to say, because they can go so deep, and you can go deep with them too. And this is actually one of the qualities that when you get to know a Gemini rising deep down, then you realise the uniqueness between different Gemini risings, because they have Aquarius in the 9th house there. 6th house, Scorpio. So in your day-to-day routine, you know, the people you surround yourself with, the people you're around with at work is Scorpio, Mars energy, Pluto if you want to go modern. And this is what I was saying earlier about the controlling element, you know. This is another reason why you guys are super inquisitive and needing to know who you are around. So that Scorpio mentality in the 6th, you need to know who is that person, what are they about. You like to quickly target someone, work them all out so that you can learn how to communicate with them quickly, and, you know, you learn how to kind of get what you want a little bit out of people by learning how to watch their mannerisms and knowing how to approach different people. Not so much that you like people all up in your business, because one of the things you do value in your life is privacy, and you do actually deep down value stability, security and safety, with the fixed signs being in some of these houses that they are in. And it's not that I'm saying that you guys are fixed and rigid, because you're not, but there is a sense deep down of you guys wanting stability whilst maintaining your interchangeability that you've got, and your ability to just flip in and out of things, as I said earlier in the video. All your angular houses are the mutable signs, so you can flip it up, and it's important for Gemini risings to be able to do that. I will point out here though, guys, it's important to have a look at your chart. If you've got any planets in your 1st house, this is going to change the expression of your ascendant. And if you've got any of the planets that are directly aspecting your ascendant, another key thing to look out and so you can start learning about, so you can really get to know how you are coming across and how you're projecting your rising and what it means for you. Now, I'm going to finish up by looking at the rest of the angular houses, really, and just focus on those for a moment, because they are the more prominent themes that are going to play out for you in your life. So we spoke all through Gemini rising and the general traits and characteristics, but let's move on to the 4th house. 4th house for you guys is Virgo. 4th house is typically, you know, it represents the home, the mother, traditions, the roots. It's nurturing, you know, it's a very watery house. But for you guys, you've got Virgo sitting in there. Virgo is, of course, mutable earth sign, and it is an introverted energy. And Virgos are, it's more of an introverted energy, as I just said, but not necessarily outwardly expressive, quite private when it comes to their emotions and their feelings, really. So for you having this in your in the house of the home, for you growing up, you might not necessarily grown up in the most emotional of households, really. It was a very busy house, a very communicative house. There's a lot of things going on, always people talking and stuff like that, and always learning, but not necessarily talking deeply about emotions, or a place where you felt that you wanted to express your emotions, because one of your parents more than likely is a little bit, you know, nitpicky, overcritical of you, particularly with a focus on the way that you're expressing yourself, trying to force you to rationalize, you know, your expression, which is quite hard for a Gemini rising. And, you know, other important fact here, this is of course ruled by Mercury. Virgo is also, Mercury also rules Virgo, and that's double Mercury energy on your angular houses. So that is another reason why you are more inquisitive by nature, and at heart you really do have the desire to get to know things and get to know the detail. You've got the Mercury, the Gemini rising in the air, so the thinking and the communicating, and then Mercury and Virgo in the earth is into the detail, the logical, the practical, that needs to make sense to me. You know, you prefer things to make sense. You try and make sense of your environment. There might have been a particular focus actually on your food, really, and how you ate. You were shown very much how to work hard. It was a busy, you know, hard-working household. Let's look at the 10th house. The 10th house is your career, how you're seen, you know, your public image. 10th house is like typically ruled by Capricorn, so you know it's the slow grind of working hard to achieve, basically. So your 10th house, you've got Pisces. So that is the immutable water sign that's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Interestingly, with this, it's going to mean that you're here basically to be a creative. There's not a particular set path that you're here to follow. Again, as I said, the mutable signs are on all of your angular houses, so you can be very, very changeable and adaptable with how you see. Pisces are known for being able to create, you know, illusions and delusions, basically. Gemini Rising is exactly the same. You guys wear many different masks. You embody many different personalities. So how you are seen, you know, 1st house, 10th house, there might be a little bit of unclarity to other people around you. They're not going to see you as a completely consistent person because of those changeable energies there. But you're a visionary. You're not here to follow somebody else's path. The things that you dream about and what you want to be and what you want to accomplish, you should follow because it's unique to you. It's not going to be what somebody else might agree with, but that's not what you're here to do. And having the Pisces in the 10th means that you can reinvent yourself. You can change your career. Your career isn't going to be set for you. So let's finally finish up and look at the Descendant. So 7th house for you guys is Sagittarius. Now the 7th house is relationships and just long-term relationships. You know, it's the energy that you can blend with the best. I am not sitting here saying that your partner can only be, like, the only indicator in a birth chart for your partner is your Descendant sign, because, you know, your moon sign, your Venus sign is very important. If your, you know, moon sign is really clashing with somebody's, you know, sun sign, for example, it's not going to work deep down, because your moon sign is your inner core, who you are in the privacy of your own home. And if somebody can't get on with that, it doesn't work. You know, that's synastry. It's a whole other video. But for you guys, 7th house, it's Sagittarius. So usually in your lifetime, you attract Sagittarius archetypes, and you're attracted to that Sag archetype energy too. Just people who've generally got wisdom, knowledge, higher knowledge. You know, Gemini Risings, you guys are super independent. You're very independent, having, you know, Gemini Rising, Sagittarius in 7th. Freedom lovers. Sagittarius are exactly the same. They are independent. They're not exactly, you know, needy. They're going to let you do what you want to do so that they can do what they want to do. It's a kind of good match there. Both Gemini and Sag are known for being the explorers of lands far and wide. You know, Gemini short distance travel, Sagittarius long distance travel. So this is a Sagittarius archetype, someone you can go off and adventure with and explore. Again, Sagittarius is representing, I mentioned this at the beginning, people from other cultures, other religions, different walks of life completely, and you're attracted to that. You want to understand that. You like different. Aquarius in the ninth. You like something to be a little bit different. Sagittarius is, I am a Sagittarius, so like I know this very well. We're not exactly the most serious of signs. Neither is Gemini. So we can, you know, both energies know how to have a lot of fun. There's that spontaneity there, and Sagittarius can be high energy and over the top. Gemini Risings, you love that. You love someone who can just be like, do you want to go and do this? Yeah, let's go. Off, plan, done. You know, it's a very good match, because with a Gemini Rising, one of their worst case scenarios in terms of a partner would be somebody who can't keep up with their intellect, who cannot keep up with the mental stimulation that they require, someone who cannot teach them anything. No, they will get so bored of that. And as Sagittarius, you know, these are the teachers, the preachers, the philosophers. They're going to bring some real knowledge. They are bigger picture type people. You know, this is the Jupiter energy, like being optimistic. So They'll be very optimistic with anything you want to do. If you've got some ideas or some dreams you want to follow, they'll be pushing you like, yes, you can do that, babe, go for it. You know, they are very much the motivating energy, and the things that they'll teach you, you know, you're never going to have a boring conversation. You'll always have a really, really interesting chat. This is someone who will be a bit of a mentor to you, and, you know, keep up, as I say, importantly, with this sign, keep up with your mental intellect. Give you the freedom that you need. Be able to go off and explore. Like, it's just, you know, you have such similar traits that are displayed differently. That's Sagittarius and Gemini. You know, they're opposites. That's how it works. But, you know, it's a compatible energy. It's a suitable energy for you long term. Sagittarius, and you'll probably find in your life, people you've been with or the people closer to you get on with are going to be of that Sagittarius nature. So, that was my video on Gemini Rising, guys. I'm going to leave it there. If there's anything that I said that you liked or could relate to, then drop me a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then of course, subscribe. And come with me on my astro journey through YouTube. And coming up in my next video, we're going to be talking all about the Cancer Rising.